Hello. Welcome to the show tonight. I'm your host, Amber Nicole, and this is my co host, Ben Korn. And welcome. Tonight, we have the Arkansas Crystal Girls. Super excited to have these ladies on. They are like a TikTok sensation, documenting their traveling across the state of Arkansas, searching for quartz crystals, digging for quartz crystals, I should say, and taking us with their journey on TikTok. So these ladies are here with us tonight. We'll learn about their journey and also learn a lot about quartz crystals. And I just heard before we came on that they're going to tell us about a newer mine that just opened up and has a special quartz that you can find there. So I'm really excited to learn more about that.
Yes.
So Ben, how have you been?
I've been busy, like I have been for a while. I was kind of nervous about this because I can hear my neighbor yelling. I think they're playing video games again. But the good news is that part of why I'm really busy right now is I'm getting a house. So I'm going to finally have more than a bedroom in my apartment to store all of my rocks, and can actually have a space dedicated to an office where I don't have to worry about noisy neighbors. So I'm really excited.
You should have heard me before before I came on. I'm like yelling at my kids. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, we're gonna be going live. No. I can completely relate, at least to the noise level, except for mine's like inside the house. But congratulations I'm really on the home. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, next week we're supposed to close on it, so it's coming up fast. So I'm really excited. I can finally like have a cleaning station instead of like the kitchen sink, which can cause issues. So
is that going to be in Minnesota as well, or?
Yeah, it's quite a ways away. So it's like an hour north of where I am right now, and I'm like right next to my office. So the commute's gonna be a little long when I got to come in for work, but it ended up being just the perfect house, and we just jumped on it as fast as we could and got our offer accepted. And now all of a sudden I'm looking at, flooring estimates and gutters and all the fun stuff that comes along with it. So
yeah, that's like a whole new world, right?
The fun thing is I'm going to be able to, start decorating, because I don't really have a lot of wall space. So I've got all these cool like agate pictures and all sorts of things that now I get to find new places for and actually display them.
That'll be nice. So have you done any rock hounding since the last time we were on the show?
I'm trying to think. I did go out, I think, after the last show, went and I think the farmer was getting ready to plant. So it was like my last time I could get out and look for some agates, and I found a few. It was actually kind of crazy. I actually got the paperwork for the house and like signed it that yes, I was going to put, the offer in and everything. And I was doing it while I was in the field looking for agates. And so we put our offer in, while I'm looking for agates. And
Such a true rock hound.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in the farm field, on my phone, checking all the things. And so I had to stop. And so after I finished to put my phone away, I didn't even step anywhere, and I looked, and there was an agate right there, about that big. And
nice.
So it was, really great. And then I've been going up north for work a lot, and I've been getting really lucky. They are redoing the road, and they're actually using this gigantic jackhammer on the end of an excavator, and they're breaking up the basaltic bedrock. And then they pull out the pieces and put it next, and they've been doing stuff with it. But I've been up there just watching them basically put dirt into trucks. And so once the trucks go, I've got, time to sit there, and I've been looking through the basalt, and I found, a bunch of like the fluorescent calcite. But then like this last time I was up there, I found some really cool pieces of basalt that have agates in them. So it's the agates and the host. So
nice.
I've still found, even with all the busyness going on, I still found some time to get out. And I saw you went to Iowa, right? Was that right?
Well, I was going to, and then it was predicted to rain. And so I was like, I'm not going to drive all the way out there and, it'd be like a hot mess. And I was planning on taking my youngest, and I wanted it to be, a pleasurable time for him. And if it was like pouring down rain, he wouldn't have. So I didn't end up going. It's still on my list. So I'm going to be heading up to Michigan this weekend. It's not rock related, but Comic-Con in Detroit. So I'm going to be going up there. So I might swing by and go a little bit more hour north and head to Lake Huron and just, do some beach combing and get some fossils. You can always get fossils on Lake Huron, Petoskey's and horned coral, all that good stuff. Pudding stones, go on to towelites, all that good stuff. So probably most likely we'll do that Sunday. But Iowa is still on my list. I'm going to definitely get some of those. We have a question here. Can you explain the different kinds of quartz? So that will be something for them to, or you, you are a geologist.
Yeah, I guess Teresa, what are you talking about specifically? Are you talking about like just different types of quartz in Arkansas? Or are you talking about like the difference between, amethyst, citrine, milky quartz, smoky quartz? I guess, Teresa, if you could clarify that might be kind of useful, because I know that's one of what we were talking with the Arkansas Crystal Girls, is that they do have, you can find like different quartz. Like they mentioned, there's a mine now that you can find solution quartz. So there is some kind of
I'm not familiar with that, so I'm excited to dive into that.
Yeah, it's something that I've wanted to go, like Faden and Floaters. Faden and Floaters? I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Yeah. Is that something strictly in Are you, Teresa, are you from Arkansas? Is that something like is that an Arkansas thing?
Yeah, I haven't heard that. Floaters, I'm assuming, just means either like an inclusion. Let's see. I just pulled up Faden Quartz off of Mindat. Let's see what they say.
Dang, that was quick.
Yeah, Faden. Pronounced Faden means thread and refers to white lines that run through the crystal.
Oh.
It says that for those, they form in fissures and host rocks that widen slowly and steadily. So it sounds like those are almost like zoned features that you can get lines on them.
Are those I'm just curious, are those something that's how they have like the phantoms? Is that something that's like pretty common in Arkansas? I'm wondering, maybe the Arkansas Crystal Girls can let us know that. And I'm not familiar with those.
And I'm sure they'll talk about a lot of the different crystals they find. And I guess too, kind of a spoiler for our next one, we're going to be doing some other crystal mining, but in person for Herkimer diamonds.
Oh yes, our next show.
Yeah, so we can talk a little bit more about that at the end, but everyone that's watching, we had the agate dude on talking about agates. So you got your microcrystalline quartz and silica there, and now we got Crystal Girls, and we're doing Herkimer diamonds. So everyone's just getting all of their quartz, which I guess is kind of apt, since quartz is the most common mineral. So
yeah, which, what's crazy to me is like, and maybe it's just because I haven't traveled all of the US, and looked at, all of the rocks in the US, but like in this area and when in Arkansas and just some other states around here, it's like, if I feel like chert is like the most common, because it's like everywhere. It's like everywhere I go, it's like chert. So, I know quartz is the most common, but it just, gosh, there's so much quartz in this area that it's hard to believe that, quartz is the most common, but it is. But, back to the, like, just real quick, the, Herkimer diamonds and, the quartz crystals in Arkansas, like, I believe, and we'll dive into this in the next episode, that, they are a bit different, right? Like, they're harder.
Yeah, well, the
chemical composition is a little bit different, right?
Well, the Herkimer diamonds, those form in limestones.
Correct.
Those are the double terminated, and then the Arkansas ones. I was just reading up on this earlier today. Those actually form in sandstones and shales.
Yes.
So you've got some different environments But quartz, it's kind of almost like a cockroach. It can live anywhere because you get quartz.
Horrible metaphor.
It's true. You can get it. It's really hard. It's hard to kill. That's why all your sand beaches are made out of quartz. You'll find them in basaltic cavities, limestone, all over the place. It's yeah.
That might be a coined term, like quartz is like cockroaches.
Quartz is the cockroaches of minerals.
All right, are we going to bring the ladies on?
Yeah. So if any of you don't know our guests tonight, they are known as the Arkansas Crystal Girls. I actually found out about them because I started following them on TikTok, but they're also on YouTube, Facebook. They make some really fun videos, and they go through all sorts of different topics. And so we're just going to learn some more about them, and also about rock hounding and finding some crystals in Arkansas.
All right. So welcome, Arkansas Crystal Girls.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time out. Thank you.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
This is fun.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, I guess we'll start with, how did you all meet? How did you guys just become a team and start doing this thing?
Well, I can go first from my side of the story, and then Jen can tell her side. My husband and I moved to Arkansas from Washington last year to be in my stepdaughter's life, because her and her mom moved to Arkansas during COVID. And so we were flying out all the time and visiting her, and it was getting expensive. And we're like, let's move to Arkansas so we can be in her life. And I've been like a avid rock hounder. Like, I got into it like a few years ago. My grandpa was a rock hounder, and I inherited a lot of his rocks. And so that's kind of what got me started. And when we didn't know anybody in Arkansas except for my stepdaughter. So like, we knew no one. So I was like, maybe there's rock hounding in Arkansas. I didn't know anything about Arkansas. So I Googled, what kind of rock hounding is in Arkansas? And it's like the quartz capital of the world. It's like, it's the best place for crystals. So we moved to Mount Ida and lived there.
Oh
for
my
6
gosh,
months.
that's like the best out of all the places.
That's like ground zero for quartz.
Yeah.
So we lived there for 6 months, and it was pretty isolating though, and it was still kind of far away from where my stepdaughter lives. So we were traveling, a couple hours, and so we decided after 6 months of living there to move to Benton. Which is where Jen lived. Mm-hmm. And shortly after we moved, or in the process, we met. And I had been digging for crystals for a while, and I was like, I met her. We had so much in common, and it was like instant best friends. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go digging for crystals for me or with me? And she's like, I don't know what that is, or I don't know, that's a thing.
I guess, sure. It was
really? Okay, so you lived there and you hadn't got into that quite yet.
She can tell her story.
I grew up in Polk County, which actually Polk County has a lot of crystals too, but they don't have a lot of active mines. And we just like picked up crystals at the lake. When we go to the lake and we walk around, we'd see crystals, we'd get little crystals. It was not a big deal. I saw the rock shops my whole life driving through Mount Ida, because when you live in a little town like Mena, you're always going to Hot Springs, or you're always going to Fort Smith, and you see the rock shops. Didn't pay any attention to it. So when she asked me to go look for crystals, I was like, sure, okay. Like you agree to something and you're like, I hope that doesn't happen. Right. But we went, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. I didn't think that I would really like it, because it was kind of, dirty, and I didn't know what to expect, but it was so much fun. And I just got addicted, and we started going once a week, and then we started filming it, and it just happened. It just happened.
So how long ago was that? Because I think you said that it was like a year ago that you started the TikTok?
Yes.
Or was it a year ago that you met?
Just over a year that we met, and then we started like 2 months after, or like not that long after
it moved pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like
let's make videos about this.
I think I saw a TikTok where you were saying like a year ago today. So it was like last spring you started doing this kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Last
Yeah,
spring.
so just to recap, these ladies have just been doing this about a year, and you guys have like what, 50K or something on TikTok?
I think like 55 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
like that.
that's impressive. And
It's crazy.
so Ben, you want to pull up their first viral video? So then, like, you did this video, and before you pull it up real quick, so I just have a question for those people who are trying to go viral and stuff. So how many videos did you have out on your TikTok before you had this one that just really hit it off?
I think we were posting like maybe twice, 2 or 3 times a week, maybe more, just, and I think we were 3 months in before we went viral as far as posting.
And we had only done a couple of story videos. Like we'd done some videos and we're like, this is boring. Like, let's do videos about, it was like Halloween. And we're like, let's do videos about phantom crystals and we'll go find some phantoms and do all this. And there's a funny story about the viral video. We'll tell you about after you play it. But
yeah, go ahead. Let's see it. So this is the viral video that started the Crystal Girls. So let's see it.
Ready to go digging? I'm ready to go. Hey y'all, we're headed to the crystal mine today to see if we can find a phantom crystal. We've tried 2 other times, so hopefully today we find one. Looks like they've started digging already. That means there will be fresh tailings. Yay! First, let's stop at the gift shop and see what a phantom looks like. $320. Can you see the phantom inside this crystal? That's what we're hoping to find today. We started digging and right away I found this one. And check this one out. It looks like a cactus. Jen found this one, which would be perfect for a necklace. Look how clear this one is. And then Jen found this. What? No. Oh, no. Look at that. It's hard to tell if these are phantoms until we get them cleaned up. Make sure you follow to see the results.
So I can tell you that excitement, that wonder, like, did they find one? And just your storytelling in that video is so good. Like, it's no wonder that was such a hit. That was such a good video.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So we realized it was going viral, and then we got kind of horrified because if you listen to the audio, we thought it was just like that vlog audio that it's called like Sunny Days or something, big deal. And then people started making comments going, what is that disgusting sucking noise? And we were like, what? And then we realized it was a Halloween version and somebody was like sucking on candy and it was like and we were like, oh no, we can't take it down, it's going viral.
Right.
We just left it up and it was
but I think you can't tell on that one. It's the part 2, we use the same audio. On the part 2 one, it's more evident.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
People were like,
that they're sucking on like a something. Like, you know what I've heard? This is not having to do with rock hounding at all, but just because we're talking about TikTok. I don't know if you're familiar with TikTok Mama 7 or something like that. She's a big TikToker, and I seen an interview and the question was like, do you have any tips about, going viral and, growing on TikTok? And she's like, just don't overthink it. And she's like, you will be literally surprised. Whatever video goes viral, she's like, you'll be like, what? Like, what? Because she's like, you'll put so much effort and work into one and get so much. And then you'll throw one video out and then it just goes crazy. And I'm just curious, is that a video that you put a whole lot of effort into, or?
That was our first one that we actually scripted beforehand and had like a story format. So we did actually put more effort into it.
I was just curious. You can tell that it's really good. You have experienced that. Okay.
We have experienced, because we've had a couple more go viral since, and we're like, what? That one? Okay.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Put one together in like 15 minutes. I was like, we didn't post a video this week. And I was like, okay, well, I can put something together real quick with clips we have. And it's just like kind of informational. What was it, like the 10 things or something?
Oh,
like
secret.
5 secrets about digging at Ron Coleman. Yeah. And it has like over 600,000 views. And I'm like, whoa, what? Like you're like, maybe I should have put more time into that. Okay. And then the ones you put a lot of time in, you're like, why is it not going viral?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So-
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the viral video, you talked about the one crystal you found. You're like, oh, this would make a great necklace. So I've seen on some of your videos that you've like made necklaces and different things. So do you have like anything nearby you could like show off of some of the things you've made?
No, we don't have any
No?
of those.
We don't. We're actually, I mean, we have some jewelry and stuff on Etsy. That's
Etsy?
kind of our sore point. Like we're like, we
Okay.
need to make jewelry, and then we go digging again, and we don't make jewelry, and so we're like, we're gonna make jewelry when it gets hot, and it's too hot to dig, I guess, because we just keep going digging instead
Yeah,
of making
we want to.
jewelry.
We are very crafty and we love making things, so we want to try like electroforming crystals and
Yeah.
a whole bunch of other crystal terrariums. We do want to do stuff with our crystals.
Yeah, we want to do projects, but we get into like these big projects and we're like, oh, we need 75 different supplies. It's going to cost $500. Let's go digging instead.
And you know what? I don't blame you because man, getting your hands out in there and just connecting with nature is like, oh, it's the best.
Can't beat it. We'll be like, oh, we dug too much last week. We're exhausted. Let's not dig this week. And then like we'll get a call and we'll be like, let's go dig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed too that, so like you've even mentioned in some of your videos that there's like the more expensive digs to like dig the pockets, but it looks like almost everything you're doing is like you've even mentioned like on your birthday you can dig for free at like Ron Coleman and like all these different things. So like I really like that you're not doing the like premium, like you spend hundreds of dollars and then you're gonna find like this crazy like pocket, but you're finding all of this on is it like the cheapest like option then that you can dig at most of these places?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The tailings, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, everything that we've done has been in the tailings. Actually, we have dug in a pocket now a few times, and that is just recently, but we haven't really done like a specific video. We did a Willie Ricard rock farm and he let us dig in his pocket, but he had like these giant crystals that it's in shale and it's going to take weeks to get out. So it wasn't like the crystals that we showed that we found there were not like those big ones that were in the pocket.
They weren't floaters.
They were not floaters.
Back
though.
to Teresa's question.
Yes.
Yes.
Can
you dive into that? Yes.
Yes. A floater is whenever like a crystal has over the years floated away from the pocket or the vein.
Or it's formed in a solution on its own away from the shale and the sandstone.
Yeah. So you're not having to dig in the hard rock to get it. It's like,
it's just in the clay and separate.
In
and
the
you
clay.
just-
now I got
Just
you.
pluck it out.
Yes,
Yes.
it's easy.
Now
So
I
we
got
have found
you.
that
Okay.
digging in pockets is no joke. It's actually
Yeah.
hard and very time consuming. You got to be very careful. We've been digging with stuff like chopsticks
And antlers.
and and stuff that won't damage stuff. So yeah, but most of the time we do dig in the tailings. To
Okay.
answer your question.
Now I gotcha. Because I've dug down there a few times. And so when you said the clay, then it clicked because that was kind of like once you hit clay, you know, that's when you get excited because
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, you might find something really good in there.
Yeah, imagine when they talk about the pocket, imagine like a big geode cave and like so the crystals are on the sandstone walls and then some of the things that broke off are in the middle and it's filled with mud and clay.
Mhm.
So when they're like, "Oh, I found a pocket," you're like, but you're not in a cave because whatever, but it's
Yeah.
kind of
that makes
You're
sense. yeah.
technically not allowed to be more than 5 feet deep, even in a pocket. I think
yeah.
Oh,
it gets
okay.
regulation.
But
So
yeah.
so you just mentioned geode, and I have to say I didn't bring this up yet, but I saw your video where you did the friendship geode, and I want to say that's like such a good idea to like get a geode and then break it, and then the friends like you each is like the friendship bracelet, like you each gonna have
I
like
didn't see that one, but that's cool.
That was one of
Yeah.
our original videos we put out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a year ago. That was at
Do you-
Wedner. I think
so
you're
I'm
right.
guessing so you still have the geode then, I'm guessing?
It's hanging out in our houses.
She has one and I have one.
Yeah.
So they do have geodes down there. I didn't know that.
No.
Oh,
They don't have geodes. You can't mine for geodes. If you
Okay.
go to Wegner Crystal Mine, they have a geode cracking station right outside
I
the
gotcha.
I think they get their geodes from Mexico or somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
I
then
gotcha.
buy
So it's just
geodes.
something extra that you can buy there. I got
Yeah, an
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like a
that's
funnel
cool.
activity.
but that's awesome. I mean, instead of like I don't know how old you ladies are, but I'm kind of old. But back when I was younger, and I think they still have them, but it was like a heart, and it would, had like a little thing, and then it was like best friends, and then instead of doing that, you got the geode. That's good.
It's special.
Yeah, we like the geode better.
Yes, me too. So go ahead, Ben. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know we're skipping around so much, but going back to the tailings piles, I know you've like posted some videos, but like, do you have advice for people on like what to look for or like places to dig that like would be like successful for like the crystals?
If you're digging through tailings, if you've never looked for crystals before, it does take like a couple of times to start getting an eye to spot the crystals because they're not white and they don't necessarily shine right away. So the really valuable ones are so clear, you see right through them to the dirt behind them, so they look black or
like
dark,
glass.
glass, like a mirror,
like a black
or something.
glass. Yeah.
So you that's what you're looking for. You just see right through them, and sometimes it takes a while to kind of spot those. But as far as like digging for the tailings, what we do is we'll like jump from pile to pile, and if we find some really clear broken pieces or something right away, it's evidence that there's going to be more in that pile. If you don't find anything within 5 minutes, we jump to another pile, and
we're pretty impatient.
Yeah, we're like,
but you know what you're doing. But you know what you're doing. You've got like a timeline, when you're like, okay, we've been here long enough. It's time to move on. So, that's something that you grasp after you're doing it for a while, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The crystals form together. So they're going to be
in the same pile. You're looking for that, good
they're not
pile.
Individual,
I mean, they're broken apart, especially if they're down excavating and, they brought it up with the excavator. But they're going to be you're looking for the good pile.
If the excavator got a good scoop of crystals, all those crystals are going to be in that scoop.
Together.
If they just got a scoop of dirt, that's just a scoop of dirt.
It could be dirt.
And like Ron Coleman, where they come and they dump the fresh piles or whatever, you got to be running fast too, especially when the kids are out of school because they're fast and they won't find it.
And I've seen their posts. You see these kids with some incredible crystals.
Yeah. The kids are always finding the best crystals. I'm like, man, we got to be fast if we're going to dig when the kids are out of school.
They're short. They can see
them. I agree.
Yeah, they're so much closer to the ground. Like I've noticed those agates, they're right there. Yeah.
I agree. When I take my kids out, I'm like, how did you find that before me? And you don't even get into this stuff. Like my kids always find the better stuff. And I'm determined that it's because they're short and they can see it way better than I can, I guess. But yeah, the kids find the good stuff.
One time when I was at Wegner, there was a little, maybe 5-year-old girl who was like, Mommy, look. And of course, kids are always picking up rocks and wanting their parents to look at it. So they were yeah, you got it. And I looked to see what she had. She had this giant, amazing crystal. And I was like, you might want to actually look at this one.
That's funny.
She's probably been just picking up rocks all day. So her mom was I want crystals.
So do you have a favorite crystal that you've found together?
Oh, we have some that originally that have kind of decorated our house with.
It's hard. There's thousands of
crystals.
But we have a favorite out of each trip. You know, there'll always be a favorite out of each trip.
Probably. Yeah.
So is there a specific crystal that you I guess it's kind of like your white whale. Is it the phantom or a scepter or a giant one? What are you most most to find?
Or phantom.
So when we did the phantom challenge,
oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing. The phantom was that small.
It was this tiny.
It was that small.
But we'd found bigger phantoms.
You found
before.
one though. But you found one.
Yes.
No, you found one. That's the thing.
Big ones before, we just didn't get video of them.
Yeah.
So that trip, we found a teeny, and we were like, yes.
Well, we put the pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
We're like, we're gonna go find a phantom, and we're never gonna lie and say that we found this one we didn't. So we had to stick to it.
Have to find it. Yes. I mean, good for
But-
you. You did.
Yeah, we love finding phantoms. I think those are my favorite to find for sure.
I would
Phantoms.
agree with that. If I've not found one, but if I did, oh my God, I'd be like, ah,
They're really
like they're really pretty. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's one of we were talking before you guys came on, and we were talking about the floaters and the fodden, and then we were mentioning the solution crystals, right? And so why don't we dive into that a bit, because I'm not familiar. And so you said, so tell us a bit, there's a new mine, and tell us a bit about all of that.
Okay. So solution quartz was discovered at a mine called Jeffrey Stone, and I guess it was in the late 1950s, and that's in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I guess it's the only place in the world that you could get it. And so it was a big deal, and there was like 15 years of collecting, and then they closed the mine down and it flooded, and you couldn't get it anymore. So
Can you explain what it looks like and why it is?
yes. And so what it is it grows in rectorite, and it's different than any of the other crystals you can find in Arkansas. They're water clear, and they're like these little haystack crystals. So
They call it solution quartz because when it grows in the solution,
which is the rectorite,
which is like the rectorite, which is like a fluid.
Vaseline fluid.
So
type.
Okay.
yeah, so it grows free form in the fluid, which makes it have really intricate formations.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's like, I don't know, it's very clear, and it's very valuable because that's the only place that you could get it. And then the mine shut down, and then like it was just collectors that had it, and they would say it would show up at rock shows, and it would be really, really expensive. I even read a story online about how somebody paid a collector to pick up all the tiny little needle points out of his backyard, and then he glued them together and sold them to rock shops. And then they inspected them and were like, oh my gosh, these are glued together. And like, I mean, I don't think it's that easy to fool a rock shop. They pretty much know what a fake rock is or a fake crystal, but they got away with it apparently.
Right. Wow.
So anyways, so it's super valuable, and you couldn't mine it anymore. And then we have they're our friends now. Kathy and Gordon, they bought a property. It was like their dream property. I guess they'd had their eyes on it for years, and they were up on their property, kind of on the hill, shooting fireworks, and they thought they saw glass all over on the ground, and it was the crystals, and it was the solution quartz.
And so
And
are they needlepoint? Are they like,
yeah, they're like, she's gonna grab some.
okay.
They're tiny little needle points, and they call them haystacks because they're so tiny and thin.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know they were called solution quartz. Okay.
Yeah. And so anyway, I don't know. I think it was a bit about 4 years since that happened, since they realized that they had crystals, and they started digging, and they started, having
so then now they have a mine.
geologists. Yeah, they've turned it into a mine. It's absolutely incredible, because if you think about it, like, she started doing the research and realizing, oh my gosh, we are the same veins. Those are some that I got out last time I was there.
Wow.
And those aren't even like the really fine ones, but those are like long and skinny, really, really unique. The crystals are so unique. We talked about foddens, and there is a ton of foddens there. Almost all of it's double terminated. Yeah, that one has cookite on it, which, Ben, you may understand a little bit more about what that is. We can recognize it now, but we really didn't understand exactly what it was when we started digging. She's like, it
Those
probably
are
has
gorgeous.
cookite.
Yeah.
And so they bought this property, and they've turned it into a mine, and it is the only place in the world that you can collect
Wow.
these quartz crystals, our solution crystals. And so and this is in Little Rock, correct?
Yes, it's called Flash Mountain Mystic Crystals. And yeah, like, it's amazing. Like,
they're just getting their mine up and running because it's in their backyard, and they're like, well, I guess we got to do something with these crystals.
it's amazing that they do, because most people would just be like, oh, crystals, whatever, there's crystals here. They wouldn't do anything with it. But so now for collectors, like, people don't really know about it yet. Like, it's huge, because now people can come and collect again something that they thought was gone forever. I mean, Jeffrey Stone's gone, and over and you can't ever do that again. So it's amazing. It's like resurrecting vintage crystal digging.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Now,
awesome.
for people that may be watching now, or maybe they watch this video 3 months from now, a year from now, how would they mine at this place? Is there a website? Is there, how do you get there? I mean, not how do you get there, but how do you mine at this place? Is there something that they can reference?
Yes, they actually have to go to Kathy's website, which is Flash Mountain Mystic Crystals. And
Okay.
she has you have to sign up for a dig. I think right now they only take like 8 people at a time.
Okay.
Because, they're just getting started and, there's a lot of red tape and regulations with mining and stuff. But I mean, they're working on getting it open for more people, but you just have to.
I don't
book
even
it
know
ahead of time.
if you could bring kids right now.
Yeah,
So-
it's a pretty hill, and she said she's going to get a tailings pile at the bottom for kids, but I don't think you can bring kids yet.
So is
Flash
that
Mountain is the place, Flash Mountain.
Yeah, and you make a
Yes.
reservation with them, and it's about, if including tax, about $50. And you can keep 1 5-gallon bucket full of crystals, which is like plenty.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
And a garden rock. And I have a story about the first time that we went out there too.
Oh, they can show the video.
Yeah, if you want to show the video, y'all guys could do that.
yeah, I was gonna say I think we've got a video of it, so let's pull that up now.
Crystals in your backyard? Well, it's always an option if you live in Arkansas, and that is exactly what happened to our friends Kathy and Gordon. They invited us out to dig on a really muddy day. We were really excited to see what kind of crystals they had on their back property. On the way up the hill, we were finding tiny points all over the place. As soon as we started digging, I found a giant cluster.
out. It's muddy, but I can tell there's crystals all over.
Eventually, we found ourselves digging in a big mud
Look at that,
hole.
I just found.
And while we were on Facebook Live, we hit the honey hole.
Instant gratification. We're finding a crystal a minute. Ooh, look what I just found. This was like the magic spot.
Oh, cool.
Look at the other side of it.
It's all the way around. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Well, we had a fun day of playing in the mud. Make sure to check out our next video so you can find out how you can dig here.
Nice.
Okay, so that cluster that I pulled out at the beginning of the video, that was the first time we ever came. We just came in. That's their tailings area, the $45 for a 6-hour dig. And we sat down at a little hole. It looked like somebody had dug maybe a foot, 8 inches, not very deep. We started digging. Within like 5 minutes, I found that cluster, and it took me a while to get it cleaned up. And let me see if I can get it to where like a light on it, so you can see it. I'll try to hold it up to the camera where you can see this way. So
Holy
it's just,
smokes. Whoa.
Yeah,
Look
that
at
was
that.
that muddy rock.
that was the muddy
Look
rock.
at that glisten. Wow.
Wow.
See if I
That's
can get to the part where it's
gorgeous.
like, here is it's like,
Yeah. Look at
it's like-
that.
it's just covered in crystals. So I
Yeah.
asked Kathy if she could give me like a value on it, because I was like, I'd like to know how much this, cluster is that I found. And I guess she had to ask somebody to be for sure. And she said, well, I can't tell you for sure because I can't see it, but I know it's worth at least $400 or more. And we were like, oh, wow. That's awesome.
So $45 dig, $400 crystal.
Yeah,
That's
that was-
incredible.
in the public dig. And we found all those other ones too that you saw. Like we were
Yeah.
just pulling out crystals, because even though it's the public dig, she knows which way the veins go.
Yeah.
So she's
Yeah.
like, she has flags out and she's like, okay, well, I know that it should be coming this way. And she's been digging up there. She digs up there all the time. So she knows where the crystals are coming out from. So yeah, it's a really awesome place. It's really fun and exciting that it's available. So
That's
we're excited to
awesome.
see what happens with them. So yeah, Flash Mountain Mystic Crystals. We actually, when we were researching our ebook, I actually saw that and I thought it was a rock shop. And that was before we knew about her. And I was like, oh, there's a rock shop in North Little Rock. That's
Yeah.
interesting. And then it wasn't long.
They're on TikTok. And so
Yes.
they reached out to us on TikTok and was
Mhm.
like, come dig at our
Mm.
mine. We're like, you're not a rock shop?
Yeah, we were like, there's a mine in Little Rock. So that's awesome, because people are always asking us, like, if we fly in to come and dig, what should we do? And we're like, oh, rent a car and drive 2 hours. But
2
now
hours. Yeah.
we're like, you can actually dig in Little Rock. And
Yeah, because that's
Airbnb.
that's where the main airport is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just mentioned your ebook. So I think that was fairly recent. So I guess could you say a little bit about like how you decided or why you decided to do an ebook, and also where
Yeah.
people can get that?
Yeah, we're getting emails every single day as far as like, we're coming to dig. Where should we stay? What mine should we go? Which one's best for kids? What kind of crystals can I find at this mine? And so we're like, we're tired of writing the same email. Let's put a book out and compare 10 different places in Arkansas that you can get your own crystals at. So there's like pros and cons to all of them.
And I will say that ebook, that link to the ebook is in the description of this post on Facebook and YouTube. So if you are interested in purchasing that, you can purchase that directly through the link that is in the description of this show. So,
and it's half off right now. So future watchers, it might not be half off, but right now it is.
Yeah, we got it on sale half off right now. So it's good time.
Nice.
Yeah,
Great.
it's 100 pages. It was a lot of information, but each of the mines is like individually owned. You know, you would think that they would be somewhat the same, completely different the way they operate, what they offer. Some of them, it's like you have to call the person and schedule a dig. Some of them, you have to message them on Facebook or, you know, like it's just completely different. It's so confusing for people that are coming into the state and they've never done it before. And so we're like, we just got to make this easier because we can't keep writing these emails every day.
I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we actually haven't gotten many questions.
Okay.
I guess we could do this. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. I think what we'll do now is we have one last video to show. It's got kind of some tips on different tools and things for people to buy. So if while we're watching the video, if you guys can, you know, ask some questions, that'd be great. And let's get some advice on what to bring to dig.
On what to bring, so let's go shopping. Let's go shopping for some tools.
First up is gloves. Ooh, those are cute. And $3. That's a great deal.
If you don't have one already, grab a bucket. And if you're really ambitious, grab this shovel.
We see ladies using these knee pads all the time.
Or you can grab a garden tool set to keep it simple.
The tool we use all the time is the pickaxe.
Well, that's pretty much all you need. Now go find some crystals.
Happy digging.
Yeah. That's if you're digging through the tailings. Really.
Yeah, that's definitely tailings.
Yeah.
If you're if you're like, if it's summer and the ground is really hard, you might want like a bigger pickaxe, but
Yeah, a paleo is really, really, really helpful too. But the one that I super thumbs up is either knee pads or that actual pad itself. Save your knees. You're gonna appreciate it later. It's worth it, like, because when you're in there and I haven't dug as many hours as you ladies have, but just in the hours that I have, I'm like, oh dear God, I don't know how I would have did this without, because even with your knees are a bit sore, but they were a lot more sore if you don't have it. So I definitely appreciate some padding on my knees for sure. So
I want to give a secret out that we'll talk about clothing in a second, but I think they're called lumber mill pants. And they are like a rock hounder's dream as far as pants go. The ones that I got, they actually have pockets that fit inside of your front pockets. So you can pull out pockets almost like a little like flap, you know, that'll come out. So you can have like multiple pockets. But the best thing, they have an open pocket on the knee, and you can buy knee pad inserts. And then you don't have to buy like special knee pads or a kneeling pad or anything. Ooh. You can get the inserts for it.
Ooh, and that's fancy.
Yeah, they're so nice. I love them. I take them rock hunting all the time because then I can also have separate pockets on my hip for like my keys, but then also have like rocks, and I don't have to worry about like sand getting in my phone because everyone puts rocks in their pocket with their phone, right. And then stuff gets in the ports and everything. And
then they have like an insert for the knees. That's cool.
Yeah, and you just buy these little like knee pad like inserts, and you just put them in, and then if you're gonna drive or whatever, you can just take them out. Like, they're super. And I'm cool.
I'm like totally showing my age because I'm like, oh my God, I need padding, but like I'm telling you, like I'm like I need the knee padding, and I didn't realize like how I wouldn't say important, but how it makes the experience more comfortable, like just having your knees padding. So that might be something I might look into with those pants.
Yeah, no, they're great. So speaking of pants, I've noticed in all of your videos, including right now, and Amber's dressing up too for the part, you're all wearing coveralls. Is there a story behind that? Is it just like a function thing, or is it like just like a fashion statement?
Yeah, I think like when we first started going digging, Jen had just ordered some overalls for her garden because she's a gardener and loves that and stuff. So I think her first time or your second time, but she found overalls that were the same color as the clay.
They were like rust orange. And
so they were like perfect.
So I was like, I wore them. I was like, I think these will work. Like, I just don't have a lot of outdoor, clothes, because I didn't do, except for gardening or whatever. And I had ordered those overalls because I thought they were cute. And I was like, I'm just going to wear these crystal digging. And they ended up being so perfect. And then that was
she got complimented all the time. And I'm like, I got to get some too.
Yeah.
And then when we started making videos, we were like, well, now we wear overalls. It's our outfit.
It's part of our marketing. Like, we're fixing to rebrand, and we're like, I think we have to have the overalls in there.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Yeah.
They're comfortable. And I mean, I have a couple of pair, and I'll tell you, as a rock hound that does all different types of kind of rock hounding, I mean, they're so universal. And depending on how thick they are, I mean, you can wear them, all year and either layer up or layer down. But I mean, they're durable, and that's the most important thing. And you don't have to worry about if they get dirty.
Sparrow.
Oh, okay. So we were digging at Ron Coleman because that's well, it's not the closest mine to us anymore, but it's pretty close. And so we dig there a lot. And I don't know why we were there that day. Well, we just went to dig.
We just went to
spur of the moment. We're having a day, and we're just we don't want to do administrative stuff. We're gonna go dig, and we're digging in this pile. And there's a little, there's kids all over the place because they're dumping fresh tailings. And so Sparrow's dad said, "Hi, can I have a picture of you with her? It was her dream to come dig with you." And I look over and I'm like, oh, wow. Like,
a
I
little
just
8-year-old
went from
girl.
focusing on rocks to like, wow. And she's wearing overalls. And he was like, she had to have these overalls. You guys wear overalls. And I was like, oh, and it melted our heart. We dug with her again last week, actually.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, wow.
But we're like, oh wow. We're like, there's a whole bunch of kids that watch our TikToks.
Yeah, we found out that there's a lot of kids we didn't think kids were supposed to be on TikTok, but apparently there's a lot of kids on TikTok that watch our videos. So we make sure and keep everything squeaky clean, no cuss words, no bad language or anything because of
would say, honestly, I did a couple of TikTok like promotes, and I was looking at the feedback of like the age group, and I was like 70% of the people that watched this video were like 13 to 17, and I was like, what? I was like, really? And so, well, I mean, it makes sense because I mean, honestly, it was Musical.ly and then TikTok. I mean, TikTok's a kid thing. I mean, and according to my daughter, she's like, adults ruin TikTok, but whatever. It makes sense that there are a lot of kids on TikTok. And so I completely honestly respect that because, and I had no clue just because I'm thinking like, I'm an adult, there's going to be adults, primarily watching my videos. But no, it's a large kid. There's a large kid volume on TikTok, honestly.
Yeah.
I had no idea until I promoted a video to look at the demographics. So
kids love it. We say it's like what's the video Minecraft in real life.
In real life, yeah.
It's awesome. And I love that. I mean, what a great outlet for kids. I mean, just on every aspect. It's so positive. And it's something that they can connect to later as adults as a coping mechanism. It's so positive.
It's something that parents love doing with their kids. A lot of times kids do something and parents are like, I don't want to watch this cartoon with you, but or this video game thingy with you, but I'll watch rock hounding videos with you all day.
It's a good connect for adults and kids.
So someone did have a question here. Speaking of TikTok, someone said, is there anyone that you want to go rock hounding with that's TikTok famous?
You Mineral Monsters, you guys are famous. We'd go rock hounding with you.
Yeah.
Mineral Monsters is love them on TikTok. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, listen, you got Arkansas, Arizona. Let's hook it up.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We haven't made it out to Arizona yet. We've been staying in the state just because our travel budget's not super high right now. But
Which is why we're trying to sell some crystals so we can expand.
yeah, we're trying to figure out where we're going to go with our business and how we're going to keep doing this. And well, really what makes us happy, you know, you start doing things and you're like, that's not for me. Like making the long form YouTube videos. We started with that and then we're like, I can't edit for that long. I don't have the patience. So
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah, so I think I saw, so one of your more recent videos, you like met with like a store owner or something. Like, is that something that you're selling now, like in an actual like storefront?
Maybe we're trying.
Okay.
Because we've been doing this a year and we've been doing everything out of pocket. We were thinking like it would be great if we grew and got some brand deals so that we could turn this into a full-time job. But that hasn't happened yet. And so we're like, okay, in order to do this more and figure out, we maybe should sell some of our crystals or, so
we started doing some live sales. We did our first live sale like 2 weeks ago on TikTok and it did pretty good. And so we're doing another one tomorrow. We've got them all lined up behind us on TikTok. So we're,
awesome.
we've thought about doing like either a mobile pop-up shop or an event-based shop in Nisha has a vintage Airstream.
Yeah.
And they have a space for us to park it if
we do that. But we've been talking about, because both of us are like, we don't want to be stuck in a shop all day selling crystals. We want to go. I think we would dig them.
We would just leave and go digging. We'd be like, I'm bored, I'm going to dig.
So we were talking, we had an event-based pop-up shop where you could like build a crystal terrarium or do something with your crystals and then schedule it. Then we could like, okay, we'll do parties and stuff like that. That sounds fun.
That would be like really great. We actually, in my town that I'm in right here, there was a store that actually they called it Projects in Person, where it was like for corporate events, but also like they would do events throughout. Like my now fiance, like we went and did like a bunch of, it was all like woodworking stuff. So it was like, you know, you get to do this and it's like a bottle opener, or this is like a nice picture frame, or like I've got a floating shelf that I made, like all these different things. Like it was really fun. Like people really want to get out and like do stuff with their hands. So if you had like, you know, make your own like necklace or, you know, like any of those kinds of things, like it would be like such a huge thing. And plus too, like now, like it just seems like crystals and like even some of the metaphysical stuff, like it's really getting popular, which I know the metaphysical things are kind of like the science behind it's kind of iffy. I know we didn't bring this up. This is more of like an intro thing, but it was interesting. I was just listening to a podcast where they had an expert on who was talking about happiness, and they were talking about different things that people can do to be happy. Like if you laugh, or the other trick is if you take like a pen and put it between your lip and your nose, it forces you to smile and it tricks your brain into thinking that you're actually happy because you're doing what you do when you're happy. But they were talking about different things that people can do for like comfort and feeling like happiness and different things. And they've mentioned like just holding objects, and they like eventually mentioned rocks, but they mentioned, you know, like people might have like a teddy bear or something that they hold. And there is like an actual connection to like holding something. It's not necessarily like the crystal giving you the energy, but it's like your body like finding comfort in like the touch of something.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I know when I was learning about crystals and stuff, I just liked the idea of like crystals having meaning. And so like when I found out like rose quartz means like love, self-love or whatever, I was like, I'm just going to put a rose quartz in my house. And every time I look at it, I'm going to just love myself. Like it's a reminder to me, not that it's giving me self-love, but it's more like, oh, that means self-love, you know?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So
do you have like, I'm guessing then like with the crystals, like you can look at them and be like, oh, I remember that day when I was digging with Jen or Nisha and like we found this and it was raining, or like any of that?
Yeah, some of them, when we were pricing these, there's a couple of them I'm like, price that one really high so no one will buy it. We're keeping that one. We really want to sell it.
The ones I thought about, they're hidden in my house.
Yeah.
I just didn't bring them.
Yeah.
Well, what it is like, I don't want to be a hoarder, but I just have to hold on to it for a certain amount of time before I'm like, it's okay. It can go to a new home and make somebody else happy. It made me happy for 6 months. Now it can go somewhere else and be happy.
Yeah, so like our last episode, we had the agate dude on, and like he's mentioned with agates, he's like, I'm giving it to somebody else to enjoy. And I like that mindset of like, it's like not necessarily like yours. Like a lot of it too, it's like kind of coming in and out of like, it's kind of crazy. Some of these, it's like you can track like who had this at which time. And sometimes it'll even make its way back to like certain people. So I like that, kind of being able to share the crystal or the agate with different people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the traveling pants, but it's the traveling crystals or rocks.
Right.
I want to give people crystals all the time. Like my sister's getting married and they were talking about the gift or whatever. And I was like, I'll just give her a crystal. Like that would be awesome. And I'm like, I don't know. She might not like crystals. She might be offended by that, but I don't know. That's what I would want. So
yeah. No, I'm with you. So we were talking about TikTok stuff. I noticed like one of your videos, you mentioned something about like hiding crystals. Like I'm assuming because you've got so many followers, eventually you're going to get people that like are, have different views about like that it's actually genuine. So like, have you been like accused then of like hiding the crystals in the dirt to find?
Oh yeah. They're like, you hid that. And I'm like, you think I went to the gift shop and paid $200 for that crystal and then put it in the dirt?
Buried it.
And buried it.
Just for the video that I'm not getting paid for.
We've made $100 from TikTok in the past year. I don't think we have that kind of budget. So yeah, people say stuff like that all the time. Or they say that we polished it.
Yeah.
We polished it because how, the facets are smooth. They think we saying, I'm like,
I think we get a lot of people that don't know anything. They don't even know the word rock hound. So they're like, but yeah. What was I saying?
People just don't understand. I think that a lot of our audience is beginners, and that's perfect because that's what we want. We want
to encourage people to get out there. A lot of people are like,
how do you do this? Why?
How can I find this in my state? Or is there anything like this in my state? And we're like, Google rock hounding in my state or near me. And I think that's the first time they've ever heard the word rock hounding.
Yeah.
So they don't know that that's a hobby or a thing. And so we're introducing that to a lot of people. That's fun.
Awesome.
Even people in Arkansas, they'll be like, I have lived in Arkansas my whole life and I've never been crystal digging. And I was like, well, I didn't either until a year ago. You can go. It's like a fun family activity. You can just go hunt for crystals all day.
And it's like finding treasure.
Oh yeah. Super fun.
Super exciting. There's a big adrenaline rush when you find the big one.
Yeah, I've told that to other people. It is like treasure hunting. Like you're looking for something that has value. Like I'm not going to sell it, but it has got value to it.
Yeah.
Like, in Colorado, like finding a 228 karat topaz crystal, like, searching for it and then finding something and just being like, oh my gosh, like I found
this.
Yeah.
It's super rewarding for sure.
Yeah. So, we did have a couple photos, so let me pull those up. Mm-hmm. So this photo, it looks like a really nice like overlook. Where was this taken?
This is actually Lake Ouachita. So there's an overlook when you're on your way to Mount Ida from Hot Springs, and it's called Hickory Nut Vista. Mm-hmm. And you can actually tell if you look close that the water was down quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was actually more in the winter, I think, when we went and did that. But yeah, it's a really cool little place.
It's a nice overlook because if you drive through Mount Ida, it's just trees. You don't even notice like there's like a town or anything to do. You're just driving through trees.
There's like a little gas station.
But if when you turn off, there's the biggest lake in Arkansas is right there. And crystals and mines all over the place.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love Arkansas. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah,
it is. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. That's Ron Cole.
I love that picture. Such a the energy, the excitement.
That was when we were making YouTube videos and we needed thumbnails.
Oh yeah, we're like, look, really surprised.
It's a great thumbnail because I use ours. It's great. It's great.
And so those are the clay red overalls, then I'm guessing.
Clay red.
Yeah, there's one that started the overall wearing.
Because
Those
you know
are
that clay does stain. It does stain.
Yeah, some of the lighter covered overalls, like the tan ones and stuff, some of them I have to
We
wash
should make a
twice.
video about that because I saw one person wearing white shoes while digging.
Ah!
What are you doing? Like
It
I think
stains. I mean, it
it's
stains your hands. I mean, it stains.
When we come home and we take showers, it's like you just watch the
Her
orange.
All the orange drop out of the drain.
all of her leather seats in her car like
Were
have
orange.
a red orange.
Oh.
Not anymore. I like them really well,
Yeah.
but it's gone now. So we're using towels in the car. Yeah, the leather was having an orange tinge, and I was like, oh, I really need it.
So you said this was at Ron Coleman, is that right?
Yeah, that's like the parking lot. Like the cars would have been in front of us, so it looks like we're out in the woods, but it's right by the parking lot.
Oh, okay. So you've I guess Ron Coleman, you said, was like kind of one of your closer like minds. And so I guess for those of you that don't follow the Arkansas Crystal Girls, they've got a coupon. So anyone that's interested in going, let me pull it up right now. You can come back, you can screenshot this. And the Arkansas Crystal Girls have a $5 off coupon for mining at Ron Coleman. So I guess how did this come about? Like, did you approach them and be like, hey, like, we want to be a part of this? Or were they like, you girls are awesome, we need to get you in on this?
We asked for it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
wanted our followers. Well, we had a place that there's a couple local businesses that have $5 off coupons near Ron Coleman, exactly like this. And we would stop and get coffee at our favorite coffee shop, but it burnt down and now they're building a new one. So we're like, oh no, our place where we get our $5 off coupons is gone. And so we asked, and they were responding to all of our viral videos about them. And so they knew us. And we're like, can we have one for our followers? That would be awesome. And they said, yes, here you go.
Nice. That's nice.
We're
It's great. The collaboration within our community is incredible. And I encourage it because it just opens up, more people coming into the hobby. And that's great.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want to
Yes.
promote all of them.
Yes.
And crystal digging in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like Signature Stone Wire Creations, Ann said here, being the first person to touch a crystal. Just that, just that feeling of no one else has ever touched it in probably millions of years.
Man,
Yeah.
as somebody who's only been to Arkansas a couple of times, I can tell you the first time I took my kids, it was like a surreal feeling. I will say that I personally, I've been down there twice, and I've been to maybe 4 or 5 different mines. My favorite, which is completely free, is Crystal Vista. I will caution people that it is like a little less than a mile hike incline, and it can be a bit rough, especially if you got kids, because they're like, how much longer till we get up there? But it's incredible to me because it's like you're not at already at a mine that's got digging tailings. It's like it feels natural because you can dig right into the earth and unearth, crystals. And just that feeling of just pulling something out freshly out of the ground is like, oh my God, I'm the first person to see this. This is incredible. And you see this gorgeous crystal and you're like, oh my God, I found this and I'm the first one to see it. It's an incredible feeling. It really, really is. And my kids, and I've got a 14-year-old daughter who no longer thinks rock hounding is cool. But we went last year and it was kind of cool then. And I was able to even get her to reel her in to connect. And I've got pictures and I've got evidence that I know she enjoyed it. And it was like and I'm taking pictures of my kids and I'm seeing them connect with nature and seeing them pull out these crystals for the first time, them being the first ones to see it. And it's like, to me as a mom, there's not a better feeling than that. And so Arkansas is always a special place in my heart, and with me and my kids. So anybody who's not experienced digging in Arkansas, you've got to do it. You got to.
How many kids do you have?
I've got 3. My oldest is going to be 21. So, yeah. So my oldest doesn't really go with us. It's my 2 younger 2 now, which are 14 and 10. And so my 14-year-old has gotten to the point where she's like, yeah, mom, this isn't cool. But I'm still like, we made a deal. Like, you've got to keep doing this with me until at least 17. So I'm still reeling her in, hoping that, it's that teenage years where nothing's really cool, but I'm hoping that, when she gets older, she will remember these times, especially when life gets tough. And, she can reconnect with, that baseline that I gave her with nature. And so all I can say is anyone who's not experienced Arkansas and Arkansas crystals, you got to, it's an incredible experience. And again, I've not been to every state and I've not dug everywhere, but I can't think of anything that's like it.
Oh yeah. And Crystal Vista, where you're mentioning, is one of the few places you can find blue phantoms.
Yes,
Yep,
you
I
can.
found-
I didn't find any, but you can. Yes. Have you guys found some?
Yeah.
The first time we went, I found a little one that was like a little twin, I think. It was
Oh my
cute. It was
gosh.
cool. And the last
How
time we
cool
went,
is
I found a cool quadrant that was
Oh
really
my
cool,
Really
double
big.
terminated. It was about that big. And it's sitting on my
And the
coffee
really cool
table.
thing about Crystal Vista is when you're going down that road, you've also got is it Avatar or a Vista? There's other mines down that
Wagner
road.
and Avatar are
Yes.
on the way to Crystal Vista.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got other mines that are there. And so it's and if you're, want to be financially cautious or conscious rather. And I think they also opened up camping in the last year too on that location. So it's a really cool place. And my personal opinion is that I like that I can go walk into like a forest area and just start digging. It's just that connection with nature. I just, I don't know. It's a cool place to me. It's special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
I'm really excited. I haven't been, but I am next year. But I feel like I might not quite enjoy it because I'm not like a huge fan of crowds, and I'm going for the solar eclipse. So-
Yeah, that's gonna be
It's-
a really big crowd.
It's the path of totality. It's supposed to be there. Everybody's talking
but
about it already.
memorable. Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
for anyone that it's coming up through
All the way
Texas,
through.
Arkansas, up into Pennsylvania. Because I even looked at the Mineral Club that I'm in is actually doing a trip down there for the eclipse. We've already filled up our field trip, and it's a year out. But we were looking at places to go, and we decided on Arkansas because of the weather for one, but also it's a little bit closer to Minnesota. But we were also looking at like the what's it called, Penn-Dixie Fossil Park in like near Buffalo, New York. That's also in like the totality. In Southern Illinois, we were looking at like fluorite mines and different things. But yeah, we settled on Mount Ida. And Mount Ida, it's like the exact middle of totality. And so for anyone that's looking up, I think it's over 40 years before the next total eclipse in like the continental US.
And I've had
one,
this marked on my calendar for like 7 years. So if you're going to do it, you better go ahead. Yeah. Cause I was at the last one in Kentucky 7 years ago. So if you're going to do it, or maybe it might've been 6 years. If you're going to do it, you need to reserve now.
yeah. I think it was 2017 was the last one.
Yes.
And this one is actually like twice as long. I know for the Arkansas, it's at like 1:50 in the afternoon, and they're talking like over 4 minutes of totality, which is crazy.
Yes. People say that like the crystals are chaotic whenever there's an eclipse.
If you dig crystals during an eclipse, it'll bring chaos to your house.
So just
I don't
wait
know.
for 4 minutes. Just wait 4 minutes and then do it after. But
Yeah.
but the I'm telling you, the 4 minutes and that eclipse is like an experience that you have never experienced. It's incredible. I mean, there are people who go chase these eclipses, and I get it because I did it, and I was like, the feeling. I'm telling you, there's this feeling that you get. There's a sense of harmony. It is like it's incredible. And this is just an off thing. But if you've never seen your shadow look completely awkward and different, just for that aspect, because your shadow is not the same during an eclipse. And you're like, it's like, okay, so our shadow's like normally behind you, right? Or however your normal shadow is, because I had a few drinks here. however your normal shadow is, it's like completely opposite of that. And you're like, what the heck? It's like everything is different. And I was in Kentucky because it went through Kentucky during the time, and I live in Ohio, and we drove down. The kids had school, and I was like, listen, this is science, and this is way more than you're going to learn in school. You're not going to school. We're going to this event. And we drove down to Kentucky, and we lucked out because at this time, because it became such a big deal, all of the farmers, for whether it was whatever kind of farmer you were, if you had land, they were opening up, they were charging, of course. Oh, wow. And we found this place, we found this like bourbon distillery, and they had all this land, and it felt like, I mean, if I had a way to describe it, it literally felt like Woodstock, because like everybody had like blankets, acoustic guitars. I mean, it was so cool. Everybody was there. I mean, there was, I'm gonna tell you, it was about the expressway was down about 7 hours because there was that much traffic. Everybody in the world came, and while we're there, we're eating, we're listening to all of this, acoustic music. Everybody's like kumbaya. It was amazing. And then when the eclipse came, it was like this, I can't describe it. This feeling that just came across. It was only for a few minutes, but that feeling for a few minutes, I was like, at that point, I was like, I literally marked it on my calendar when the next one was, which was is going to be next year. And then a year from that, I marked when to mark my hotel, because when we went down to Kentucky, getting hotels, like coming back, I had to, because the traffic was so messed up. And so, I mean, it was 7 hours. We had to find a hotel, and it was like, we got some hotel in some really sketchy place. Thank God we made it alive. But it was like, now I'm pre-planning for the next one, because that was like our first experience. And I was like, that whole experience, and with my kids, I mean, it was just, it's something that you're not going to ever have. So it was like, anybody, I mean, if you can be down in Arkansas when this is happening and get quartz crystals, do it now. That's all I'm telling you.
Or are you going?
I'm actually, so it goes through Ohio, and I live in Ohio, so I already have my stuff booked through Newark, Ohio. So it's going to be in Ohio, which is going to be like an hour for where I am. So I already have that reserved. I have my room. I mean, 7 years I've been waiting for this, or 6 years. 6 years I've been waiting for this. So I already have everything reserved. But I get people that go out there, and there are people who are like solar eclipse chasers. I get it. So it's very lucky that you ladies live down there, because it's going to be something that you will never experience any other time. So that's my excitement about it.
Yeah, my fiance is not like really into the rock thing. When we first were like dating, she like obliged and like would go look for rocks. But for this trip, I was like, "Do you want to go?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll go for the eclipse." And she's not doing anything. Like I'm like, "All right, you one day." You need to come out and look for crystals. So I've got her for the one day, but we're staying in Hot Springs at, I want to say it's like the 1890 Williams House or something. It's like this historic like hotel that I guess is like near like spas and all sorts of
Oh,
stuff. So
yes.
she's like gonna be doing that, and I'm gonna be out getting dirty. So yeah, we are really excited. But yeah, we've already been looking at hotels, and even like we're waiting a day because it's on a Monday, and we're actually gonna then try to leave on a Tuesday, and even looking at like hotels in like Des Moines, Iowa to come back up, and they're already like saying it's like $200 a night. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we're gonna dig, but we probably should dig somewhere during that day.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna be something exciting. But the fact that you guys live there, I mean, you're already gonna be there, so you're lucky in that aspect. So
Yeah. We usually avoid crowds though. When we go digging, we like to go dig during the week so that nobody's there.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. That it probably will be a very busy dig day. But you could always do Crystal Vista because not a lot of people like going up a mile uphill.
That's
So yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was gonna say there's a lot of mines though, aren't there? Like I don't even know how
Yeah,
many.
how many mines are there in Mount Ida?
11 places.
There's 11 places. One of them's not on our ebook. I don't think that they have their website going yet. It's called the Willie Rickard Rock Farm. We made a video
Oh yes,
about
Willie. Yes.
a few weeks ago. It was a really cool property that families own since, like 1902 or something. So,
Yeah.
But they're just getting started. They only let people come by invitation. You have to, message them on Facebook directly,
Yeah.
and they're working on getting their website up. And so once they get up and running, if they want to be added to our ebook, we'll definitely do that. But yeah, there's 10 places.
Yeah, I saw Brent Rickards he was watching earlier.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
So yeah, there's 10 different places. Most of them are in Mount Ida, but there's a few,
One in Little Rock,
One in Little
a couple
Rock.
in Jesseville, Hot Springs. and then-
Jesseville, yes, Jesseville.
Jesseville is right next to Hot Springs. So
yeah.
So if people aren't really sure about where to go, I heard like you have a Patreon and people can actually dig with you. What's the details on that?
yeah. So that's another thing people we just got asked yesterday, like, hey, we're coming and digging. Are you guys going to be there? And
people think we're at the mines every day, and we're like, we can't go every day. We try to go about once a week, but so we decided, since so many people are asking us to go dig with us, we were like, what's the best way to do this to where people can join us and it's fair? So we just started a Patreon for like $6.95 a month, and we put a dig calendar out. So when we know we're going to go somewhere, we'll put it on the calendar. That way, if they're able to join us, they can.
So in
for
June, we're going to hopefully do a dig at the Phantom Mine at Wagner, and that's going to be on our dig calendar. People can come join us for that.
Yeah.
Good for
Actually, we made it for our Patreon. Somebody on Patreon requested it, so we made a dig there, which we needed to go anyway.
And
that's great.
I'm pretty sure I did put your Patreon in the link of this. I did. I put all of your social media accounts and connections in the link up this, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, and the link of this event, you can find it for sure. So if you're looking to dig with these ladies, connect with their Patreon. If you need to find out, where they're at, it's in the link of this show for sure.
Yep. And if you want to buy crystals, they've got Etsy. And then what time is your live sale tomorrow on TikTok?
8 Central. So yeah, tomorrow night at 8 Central. We started a little earlier last time, like at 7. I don't think it was quite late enough. Everybody needs time to
get those kids
done.
in bed.
Yeah. Like buy crystals.
And people on the West Coast were coming on just as we were signing off. So we're like, okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So getting dinner finished, getting kids in bed, either or you need, for us parents, later is good. All right. So I really, really appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight. I mean, what a pleasure. It's been exciting to speak with you. Is there anything you wanted to share with us before we go tonight?
I don't think. Thank you so much
for
having
us. It's been fun. It's always fun to talk about crystals.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much. So again, these are the Arkansas Crystal Girls. Please follow them on TikTok, Facebook. They are also on Patreon. They have an ebook, as well as YouTube. I know that they focus most of their energy on TikTok, so definitely follow them there. And any follow-up questions or interactions, you can definitely get a hold of them on any of those platforms.
Yeah, and yeah, no, you're definitely welcome. I've been following you girls on TikTok for a while, and I always enjoy your videos when they pop up. So I guess looking ahead, we are going to do our very first live episode on Wednesday, May 31st. We will be digging Herkimer diamonds with Joe Sukup in New York.
Yes, and this will be the first time that me and my co-host actually meet.
Wow.
Yeah, like we got a crazy. I mean, it's not like a crazy story, but I'm excited to kind of share our story on how, Ben and I became co-hosts and hosts for this show. We'll dive into a bit of that on our next episode. And it'll be the first time I've ever been in New York first time ever I've ever been in New York.
Oh, really?
First time in New York, first time to dig in New York. So I'm super excited for that. First time to meet my co-host and first time to meet Joe, who is like a badass Herkimer diamond miner. So I'm super excited.
What mine are you going to?
We're going to go to one of Joe's claims. And after that,
I think he said he's got like 3 mines he wants to take us to. So he's got his own claim.
He's guiding our way.
Yeah, I believe the Mohawk Valley, it's Mohawk Valley something. I know he's like associated with that. So I think we're going to be doing something there. But similar to kind of like Arkansas, where there's like a kind of a swath of mines throughout the area. It's the same with Herkimer. Like there's a town of Herkimer, but I think he said it's like 30 miles or something like that. That like it's a big area that there's a bunch of different mines. So Joe will go over all the different tips, and he's got a whole wide range of tools. Some of them are like custom made from car parts that he uses for digging. So we're gonna get into all that stuff.
Yeah, like
that's exciting.
That's
yeah,
fun.
like he's like this guru in this, and so I'm super excited. It'll be a great show. It'll be of course, our shows are live. We will do some live content while we're digging. And we will talk to Joe about, all of the experience and all of the goods that he knows to teach us to be the best Herkimer diamond miners we can be. And it'll be fun. I'm super excited. This will just be a super exciting show, just all the way around. I mean, for everyone and for me personally, because I get to finally meet my co-host.
Yeah, and it's
and
it's great for me because it's a week of rock hounding for me. I'm actually going to the UP of Michigan to look for copper. Then I'm hopping on a plane going to New York looking for Herkimer diamonds. Then I'm going to New Jersey, which Amber is joining. It's a Minnesota Mineral Club trip, and we're going to look for fluorescent minerals in New Jersey. So it's just going to be a crazy, fun rock hounding time.
Yay.
So thanks. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And thank you again to the Arkansas Crystal Girls. Follow them on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere that you want to watch videos of people finding crystals.
Yes. And thank you again. And also, if you are not following us on YouTube, please do follow us so that you can get notifications when we go live. We are Rockhound Talk Live. Be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, and peace out, everyone.
Happy digging.
Happy digging.